The reporter is 25-year-old Anderson Cooper. He shot the story on his home video camera. This is his Somalia.
To get into Somalia, I had to hitch a ride on one of the relief flights the U.S. military has been running since early September. I flew to a place called Baidoa. I had never heard of it before, but I'll never forget it. This is Baidoa, a city in Somalia. It's one of the hardest hit by both civil war and starvation. To call it a city isn't really accurate. It's kind of like a Wild West town. There is no law, there is no order. Power comes from a gun, and the problem is that everyone in Baidoa has a gun. Baidoa is run by warring clans. Teens with automatic weapons cruise the streets in specially rigged pickup trucks or stroll along clutching AK-47s. The delicate strands that bind a group of people together in a society have disintegrated here in Somalia, and amidst the madness has grown a new society where power comes from a gun. It's a terrifying vision of life after an apocalypse. The gunmen who make the rules in Baidoa don't like to be photographed. If you point a camera at them, they're liable to shoot you. So a lot of the video you'll see I had to take secretly, pretending the camera was off. You know going into Somalia that you're pretty much on your own. You hire armed guards, but you have to take your chances. The guards I hired were students before the Civil War. They can now make $50 a day with their guns. It's one of the unexpected things about life here. Some people thrive, while others starve. If you have money, you can buy things in the market. If you're strong, you can push your way to the front and get water at the only well in town. If you're lucky, you can survive. For some, aiming for yourself means taking what you can get. Relief supplies and relief workers are often targets.
We've had our warehouse looted. We've had everything taken out of it. We're under threat today in our own home to be looted. We've had to increase our security around our own homes. It's dog eat dog here at the moment.
Though food is coming and most does get to the needy, for many it's too late. Just as it takes a long time to starve to death, it takes a long time to be brought back from the brink of death. And time is what many in Somalia no longer have.
And by this stage, some people are too far gone in malnutrition. It's a horrible thing.
At outdoor kitchens, young and old, like human skeletons, sit in rows waiting for food. It's cooked in empty oil drums on charcoal fires. The smell of cooking food fills the air and taunts the hungry. In the background, you can hear AK-47 shots firing right now. I'm at a feeding center run by the organization CARE. There are about 30 or 40 of these feeding centers run by different organizations all throughout the city of Baidoa. You'd almost expect there to be pandemonium here. They're shooting in the distance, people waiting for food, but there's really not. It's in a way, starvation seems to suck the life out of you. You just sit and wait. There's nothing more you can do. Some die waiting. They sit down and never get up. Their bodies are pushed aside by the living. Few tears are shed. The dead are brought to makeshift morgues and then buried in unmarked pits outside of town. They've just brought another body in now. That makes it about 10 or 11 bodies that are in so far. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Mohammed, the man who cares for these bodies, says that by midday, when the truck comes to take the bodies to the burial ground, he expects there to be about 60 or 70 bodies. It's hard to describe what it's like being here. When you walk in and you see the bodies, it's unreal. You don't realize they're bodies at first. They're covered in shrouds, and they're so thin. I mean, my hand is about 6 inches from finger to finger, and that's how wide most of these bodies are. It's incredible. On the sides of roads, animals and humans lie rotting where they fell. Maggots feast while humans starve in Baidoa. I tried to distance myself, tried to find ways to escape the sight, the smell of the dead and the dying. At night, I stayed behind the guarded walls of the Red Cross. But even at night, the sounds of guns firing told me where I was. Death and suffering are everywhere here in Baidoa. I was walking down this road and just came upon a family whose son just died as I was standing there. They're now washing his body. You want to do something. You want to cry out. You want to grab someone and get them to help, but there's no help to be had, and there's no one around. For a lot of these people, it's too late. You know, the relief supplies are coming, but they've been suffering for months, and they're going to die, and there's nothing you can do. I sat and watched the boy's father use what little water he had to clean his son's body. They had come to Baidoa because they had heard there was food here. The father had already watched his 2 other boys die. This was his last. He was 5 years old. He was just one boy. His was just one death. It happens 1,000 times a day in places like this all over Somalia. It happens every day.